What you thinking about?
Get off of me. Shh. Almost done.
Almost done what?
Getting my knife out of your buttocks, you pervert! Get your mind out of my pants!
Welcome back, everyone. Maximum Effort. Marvel just dropped a brand new Deadpool and Wolverine trailer with a bunch of new footage and Easter eggs, so we'll break it all down. And they just put tickets on sale. That's the reason why they dropped the new trailer. So we'll do a giveaway for movie tickets like I used to do all the time. All you have to do to enter is be a subscriber and just post all your reactions in the comments below. They're using the same Madonna Like a Prayer track that they did in the last trailer for lots of metaphors going on here. Deadpool just completely getting his rocks off, hanging out with Wolverine, trying to save his universe. Even though it's kind of hard to chart the timeline of some of the moments in the trailer with him reacting to Deadpool, you can definitely tell Hugh Jackman's Wolverine just absolutely cannot stand him. There's a brand new scene of them standing in front of the ice cream truck from Moon Knight, which has been hot-rodded Mad Max style by all these X-Men characters, but for some reason it doesn't appear in the trailer. They just use it as the thumbnail for the official trailer. I'm not expecting Oscar Isaac's Moon Knight to show up during this, but there's always a chance that there could be references to his version of Apocalypse. If you remember, Oscar Isaac did play a version of Apocalypse, who we also just saw during X-Men 97, like 3 different versions of Apocalypse just showed up. So there's a whole bunch of Apocalypse-related stuff going on right now. They started the trailer with that slow-motion action scene, which Deadpool later calls out, sort of breaking the fourth wall. Like, this is what I'm talking about, slow-motion action sequences as they do their big walkout. Some of the most notable things going on during this are the fact that Hugh Jackman's Wolverine has his sleeves ripped off, so he looks more like the comic book version, even though this costume isn't exactly like other comic book versions. Like, it's a slight twist on the yellow and blue version. There were a couple different versions of the suit that he wore during X-Men 97, the animated Wolverine, that was a little bit more comic book accurate because he had the shoulder pads. A lot of people asking about that here, like, why doesn't he have the shoulder pads in this scene? My assumption is at some point during one of their fights before this, they just get ripped off in the fight. You can also see all kinds of bullet holes and rips all over the bottom of his costume too, so it looks like he's had his fight with Deadpool at this point. Zoom in and enhance in the background too. When Wolverine walks out and it says Copperheads in the background, Copperhead is actually a character from the Serpent Society that was supposed to, or at least before they changed Captain America 4, was supposed to appear with the Serpent Society in that movie. But I'm not expecting a whole bunch of crossover between that movie and this movie, just because that movie is meant to be sort of a Winter Soldier style thriller, like a political thriller, and this movie is more of a full-blown multiverse story connected to Avengers Secret Wars. Tonally could not be more different. As Deadpool walks out, you notice that he has completely different guns. These are golden guns that I think belong to another Deadpool variant that we actually got footage for earlier this year. Like a much more handsome version of Deadpool that had way better armor, had a way better looking face that didn't have scars on it from the cancer. I think the idea is that he was meant to come from the Deadpool Corps because they are doing a version of the Deadpool Corps from the comics, and at some point, that version of Deadpool just gives his guns to this Deadpool. The other guns that the TVA gave him at the beginning of the movie have the Smile for Flash message on the front of them because they make a flash when you shoot them. The other really noticeable thing in the background here is that they're in the middle of what looks like a town with a bunch of shops, and it's not clear if they're on Wolverine's world or if they're on the Void, and this is just part of a place that got pruned too. It does seem like they do spend a little while on Wolverine's world at some point. We get that Rob Liefeld Just for Feet shop, but it's a big joke about Rob Liefeld from the comics in the fact that he's never been really great at actually drawing feet, that it's been such a joke in the fandom since way back in the day. It's not necessarily a Deadpool-specific joke, like it's all types of feet in all comics he's ever drawn. They even made a big joke about it during Deadpool 2.
What coked out, glass pipe sucking freak show comic book artist came up with that little chestnut? Probably a guy who can't draw feet!
Rob Liefeld himself, though, actually said that he was on set the day they were filming this scene, okayed the joke, like he was totally fine with them clowning on him. Deadpool turns to camera, breaks the fourth wall, telling some more sex jokes about Wolverine as they start their fight in the middle of the 20th Century Fox logo here that's broken into a couple different pieces. We'll see if they actually explain how that particular thing got pruned, like what happened at that 20th Century Fox in the context of the story, even though it's a bit of a fourth wall break itself and clowning on the fact that 20th Century Fox used to do all the X-Men movies, which Deadpool comes from technically, and all these other cameos that are coming back from a lot of those movies, including Hugh Jackman's Wolverine. When they do the Let's Go montage with a couple different scenes cut together, it looks like they're inside of someone's lair, like a cave where someone just collected a bunch of stuff that's also been pruned on the Void. This giant skull actually seems like it's Hulk's bed from Thor Ragnarok though, or a version that got pruned in some alternate universe. It's not in this trailer, but they actually have the Pingo Doce soda from the Incredible Hulk movie, so maybe we'll have some version of Hulk at some point cameo in this. It would be absolutely crazy if it was the Edward Norton version. Maybe outside chance they have the Eric Bana version of Hulk do a cameo. That would actually make more sense just based on the deep cuts that they're going for in this movie. We get that scene of Deadpool killing the TVA agents. Not totally clear why he's fighting them, but one of my early theories about this is that he's actually going against the TVA, like a Deadpool versus the TVA, because they actually try to stop him from saving his universe. Not totally clear, but it just seems like the Paradox agent might wind up being one of the secret villains of the movie and sets the TVA to actually stop him, so all the hunters go for him and Deadpool tries to start fighting them. But I did a video a little while ago about how the Cassandra Nova villain might actually be a bit of a misdirect. The way the extra CinemaCon footage, which was like the first 9 minutes of the movie, played out, made it seem like the Paradox agent was just trying to get Deadpool to do what he wanted him to do without giving him all the necessary information. There are so many theories about him secretly being some other huge character. I really think he's still meant to be Agent Paradox and just super shady. We get that same suit-up montage with Deadpool getting his adamantium swords. It's still B and Arthur, it's just adamantium versions of his swords. Part of the idea with that, I think, is just to arm him up so that when he fights Wolverine, Wolverine doesn't slice his swords up really quickly with his adamantium claws. Like, he has to give him something that will also enable him to fight someone who also has adamantium. We get a new shot of Dogpool running through a field. It looks like a slow-motion action scene, another joke on Deadpool's comment of slow-motion action scenes. But if you're not familiar with the Deadpool Corps, Dogpool is a character from the comics who is part of the Deadpool Corps, and his origin story is meant to be a parody of Deadpool's original origin story on his own world. In real life, though, the dog that plays Dogpool in the movie was voted Britain's ugliest dog recently. So it's meant to be like the ugliest dog you've ever seen, but in the context of the film, Deadpool himself is supposed to fall in love with it the minute that he sees it. There are a couple Easter eggs for things that got pruned in the background too, like obviously you have the 20th Century Fox logo, but over on the right here in the background, you actually see what looks like the wreckage of a tall ship that's been pruned. We get that big scene of Goliath coming to consume everything around the dead Ant-Man, but part of the joke here, obviously, that it is a dead Ant-Man in Giant Man form. Not really sure how he died. Maybe it's a version of Ant-Man that died during Ant-Man the Wasp Quantumania, like he came to the Void, got pruned for some reason, and just happened to die after he came to the Void. But it's his entire body just lying down, like we've been seeing his head this whole time, but in this scene you can see it's his entire body. There was a longer joke during one of the previous trailers they released where he makes a joke about Paul Rudd finally aging because it's his skull, like his body's been there long enough to decay so that it's just his skeleton inside the suit.
Huh. Paul Rudd finally aged.
We get another new scene of them arguing with each other. Notice that Wolverine has both of his sleeves when they're talking to Cassandra Nova's X-Men band, Fantastic Four characters. They have their masks on, so it's kind of hard to tell who's underneath the mask though. But there were a couple people in this lineup here that people did not recognize immediately. I already talked about Lady Deathstrike and Azazel from the X-Men First Class movie, Toad, Pyro. All of them are being played by the original actors, like they just came back to play their characters again. This person here is Callisto from X-Men 3 Last Stand. There's some other references to X-Men Last Stand during the movie too. The other villain over here on the right in the striped shirt is actually meant to be a variant of the Russian from the Thomas Jane Punisher movie, which was actually released by Lionsgate, not by Fox. So there will be some other cameos and Easter eggs for other non-Fox, non-MCU Marvel movies. Zoom in and hands on this particular scene of the front of Red Skull's car. Notice that at some point, a version of Tony Stark from another universe swapped the Red Skull's Hydra hood ornament for one of his own Iron Man hood ornaments, and repainted and modified the car, turning it into more of a hot rod that looks similar to the hot rod he was working on during the events of the first Iron Man movie.
To leave an hour and a half ago.
That's funny. I thought with it being my plan and all, that it would just wait for me to get there.
Here's the thing with this. All the X-Men, Fantastic Four, Fox, Marvel characters here have just been collecting junk that gets pruned by the TVA and sent to the Void all over the place, just repurposing it. So this Iron Man themed Red Skull car got pruned at some point from another universe and then sent to the Void looking like this. It's not like the X-Men did a repaint to make it look exactly like Tony Stark's hot rod during the first Iron Man movie and then put Iron Man's hood ornament on it. Tony Stark did this in another universe, then it got pruned. So this means in the universe that this Iron Man car came from, they're implying that this version of Tony Stark bought Red Skull's car at some point or acquired it at some point and then just hot rodded it out like he tinkers with all of his collector's cars and regular supercars. Everybody's still wondering where they jumped through in this portal here, but I don't think that it's actually to the final battle in Avengers Endgame, but there have been a lot of memes about that, like maybe they're jumping to Avengers Endgame because they are supposed to revisit a lot of moments from the previous Marvel movies during this. So even though in this moment, I think they're just teleporting to somewhere else on the Void because it doesn't take them across universes, the Doctor Strange portals typically just take you across the same world. I do think in some other part of the movie they will reference the final battle from Avengers Endgame in some jokey kind of way. And even though they make the big sex joke here with Wolverine getting all pissed off at him, he really does have a knife of his that's stuck in Wolverine that he is pulling out, like you can hear the knife being pulled out of his body. There's so many Easter eggs and references they pack into this. Is there any that you spotted that I didn't talk about in this video or my previous trailer videos? Just write them below in the comments. And what I'll do is I'll just keep the giveaway going week to week and just name giveaway winners in every couple of videos until the movie actually does come out. Thankfully, we don't have too long to wait, and June itself is going to be stacked with really big episodes of series that I'll be doing videos for. We also just got done with X-Men 97 episodes, and it was a banger of a season. All the videos for that are on my channel, so be sure to check them out if you haven't seen them. Everybody click here for my brand new Thanos video, and click here to learn about the real villain of Deadpool and Wolverine. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one in maximum effort.